Raphael Devers just feeling pretty good?
Yeah, I think he feels, good to the point where felt good, and then taking a couple extra days. So hopefully he feels great. Again, I always put it into context this time of year once the season starts, and he has been DHing. And I think guys have seen he's been holding his butt around the bases, so he's never going to feel 100% or 1,000%, however you want to say it. But I think he feels good, and I think he's anxious to get out there.
Yeah, that instance against San Diego where he barreled down to first base. It was obviously looking pretty spry. Is that kind of an indicator to you that like it's close?
A little bit. To be honest with you, the straight line running and then the activity over at first, even drill work with Wash, had become two different categories. Feels really comfortable in a straight line, and that's one of, you point out a good instance, but that's one of several times this year when he's gotten on base. He's been pretty dang good on the bases.
Impressions of how he looked defensively at first base just from watching him work in spring training this year?
Just spring training, I was surprised that how good his arm is. Obviously, capability of playing third base. His feet are really good. Joked with him one day about playing shortstop, but he has, like a lot of guys on the field today, he has a background that started at shortstop. I don't think we want to put him there anytime soon, but I think it speaks to the fact that at some point at a competitive level he could play that position. He's got good feet and a good arm, so that's a start. Again, that first base position comes with a lot of ins and outs or specific plays where you got to make good decisions. You got to put yourself in a good position, and I know he feels more comfortable than he did probably this time last year, just familiarizing himself over there.
Is there any reaction either from the staff or from him to some of the stuff that's going on at first base the last few days, including the injury that bumped this up?
No, I think we had kind of our team bonding moment from the things that took place a few days ago that everybody was chatting about, but I haven't heard anything. If they are, they're doing it behind my back, which is fine, but I think...
just in terms of him playing first base?
No, I think the timing, basically all parties involved agreeing it's go time, and then even feeling really good about it from there. So call it coincidence if you want, with your theories. That was a joke.
It's had kind of an unusual schedule in terms of, I think this will be the first time all year you're playing at 105. When you started, then you had a day off, then you had a Sunday off. No games are at the same times. Baseball players, coaches, creatures of habit. Has that been a challenge at all?
A little bit. I think the biggest challenge we had really was you had the staggered times against the Yankees. Was first win, for good reason. You want to celebrate any victories, but celebration. Win the series, win our first series, win 2 games in a row for the first time, celebration, and it's late night, and then all of a sudden you got to pop up and you're the road team, checking out of the hotel. And so I had concern about that. I think Pivetta was really good too on the day 3 instance I'm talking about. But I think it's good to live through that or experience it or even just get a reminder for these guys that have been in the big leagues a long time about that challenge. I'd like to think this is more comforting at being at home. It's an absolute gorgeous day. There's not a lot to complain about at all. And if anything, it's our second look at playing a night game and then having to bounce back and play the next day.
Any sense at all that now going on the road, that we got this kind of weird schedule thing out of the way that you can kind of get into a routine of a season?
I think a little bit. I think for now the guys are just concerned with playing well at home. You come with a little extra caveat. Our crowds so far have been incredible. When you want to perform well in front of the home fans, and maybe odds are you got a little more family, friends sitting in the stands too. So I think that's the only side topic to how the schedule lays out. But I think everyone's ready to get in a routine where it is day in and day out, and it's about business as opposed to ups and downs.
Tony, sorry if you were asked already, but sometimes day game after a night game, the backup pitcher is in there. So is there a particular reason you wanted to go with Patrick?
Mainly just hooking up with Webby, and Susak will get his chance coming around the bend here pretty soon. And if anything, I don't think it means a whole lot, but those guys got off their feet a little quicker than any of us really wanted if you look at the whole scope of things yesterday.
You got the same guys in the lineup, albeit different orders. Was there any discussions about getting guys like Koss or Oliva in the lineup at all?
I think Oliva's got an opportunity to be in the game really like any game, but maybe today, with Devers being at first, it increases the flexibility to do that. So late in the game, he's always got an opportunity. I think today's lineup suits that a little bit more, and then it's only a matter of time before it costs. Again, it helps with Rafi being at first, gets a day somewhere on the infield, and then another spot in the infield, and then maybe even another spot on the infield as we move guys around.
Tony, nobody ever wants to use a position player to pitch. It's usually a bad situation when it happens, but Haas has had so much success, I guess if you want to call it there, 5 scoreless outings. What are your thoughts on sort of his ability to come in and do that?
I think it speaks to what he's capable of doing for us. I mean, if we were going to use Jared to pinch run for Gerard late in the game, obviously we would have liked to be in a better position the last 2 nights. Then Koss would have just finished the game at first base, and he's got limited time there. He's got limited time in a few spots. Outfield, we put him in center field in spring training, and won't you know it, he makes a play right out of the chute. So I think it just kind of speaks to the fact he's a ball player. He'll do whatever you ask. He's always eager to come to the field, bounce around, and get after it. And then it's not just the 1-2. He's literally capable of playing any of the 9 positions, on the field, and probably could be pretty good at it if you had to. His approach, I think, is intelligent, but if he was really to get up on it, up there on the mound, he'd probably be pretty good at that as well. But yeah, I'm not a fan when it occurs. On our side, it means the scoreboard's not what you want it to be, but I think the whole deal would be better off if that never happened. So I don't make those decisions, though.
I think Alex maybe asked when I walked in, but Devers always says he feels more comfortable at the plate when he's also playing in the field. Did that factor in with this?
No, I think you could lump circumstances together, but they'd really just be peripheral. It was a separate topic of just when do all parties involved feel like it's go time or that he's ready to go, and I think everybody feels good about it. If anything, feel good about it, and then maybe even a day after. So feel like he's in a good spot, and hopefully that will, anything that's negative that comes up, whether it's him having to sit over here and it is a challenge, you stew over your ABs. I think he's really good at flipping the script after a while, but there's no doubt it's more, you're in more flow of the game, and I think he's in a better position for him in particular to be over there. So the rest, we were talking about it before, is to me kind of peripheral. Call it coincidence if you want, but it's good to come to the park and have a fresh look of something. Right now we need that, but also just to have him over there because it's our best lineup.